From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop DBIC, the primetime capper, and it is time for the premier sports betting show. And boy, oh boy, it is some things going on. It's some things going on in La La Land right now. The Lakers have picked up some pretty good guys. We'll talk about a little bit later in the show and everything like that. But pretty much from what I'm seeing right now, I'm just seeing that the Lakers are just trying to put some bodies on the bench and things of that nature. Some bodies out there as well, too. It's going to be all about the big three, Westbrook, AD, and LeBron. So when we'll get into it, though, in a little bit, though, I'm going to go ahead and stick to the script. Up first, Chris Paul. CP3 signs another monster deal to stick around in Phoenix for another 4 more years. So, hey, I think Phoenix was a little bit I don't think they needed to do it at the end of the day. I think that pretty much they should have figured out a way for him to probably opt in on his deal to where, Chris Paul, you only get 1 more year with him, but that would have cost a lot of money because that was going to be $44 million. So pretty much now CP3 takes a 4-year deal worth $120 million a year. And worth not $120 million. I'm so sorry, but he takes a deal that's worth about $30 million now, and this should free up some space for the younger guys on the team like Aiden and Bridges to make some money here. Because Aiden was pretty much set to get a big payday this summer as well, and Bridges was set to has worked his way into a pretty good payday as well, too. So pretty much Chris Paul might be over here doing the right thing, helping them free up enough money to sign these players to some mega deals. But he's going to put Phoenix in a place where they don't really want to be at, and that's in the luxury tax over taxing. You know what I mean? Pretty much meaning that they're going to get taxed for having too much money on the books. So pretty much, the Suns are convincing themselves this is a win now situation with Chris Paul being their guy, and I think that's a good little dream to run with. But at the end of the day, I think to myself that this is going to be really tough, to be honest with you, for them to work this thing out the way that they want to, because now the West is forming back up to being, pretty tough conference once again. The Warriors are putting themselves back together with 2 lottery picks. James Wiseman's there as well, too. Then you got the Splash Bros coming back with Draymond and possibility of bringing back Iguodala as well, too. So pretty much they're going to be back to normal, being the Warriors once again. And then you have the Lakers, who have a big 3 situation going with AD, Bron, and Westbrook now. And then you have pretty much a lot of different things that you can run with here as well, too. So pretty much I say, what's up, Sports King? What's going on, brother? Good to have you here. Long time follower of the show, long time follower of a lot of stuff I do. So thank you, sir, for tuning on in. But CP3 is going to cost them a couple dollars. And you know what? They set themselves up in a good position. So if they had to move CP3 just in case this thing doesn't work out the way that they think it may work out next year, because that's a strong possibility with a team like Phoenix, they can go ahead, tell themselves, all right, it didn't work out. So what do we do next? Oh, we'll go ahead and we'll move Chris Paul here for this, that, and this. And they can get some assets for Paul as well, too, because Paul is seen as still a very high-end player. Even though he is getting up there in age, he's still a player that it does, he does really demand the respect that all really great players deserve. So, hey, at the end of the day, it is what it is. We move on, and let's go ahead and talk about the Bulls picking up two former Lakers, and Lonzo Ball, who had spent a few seasons in New Orleans, now escapes from New Orleans like he wanted to in the first place, and goes to the place that he desired the most, actually, if he couldn't be a Laker, and that's Chicago. And now he's going to be in Chicago as their lead man, and then he got his main man, Caruso. Everybody remembers a few years back with Caruso when they were in Summer League and everything like that. There was a big back and forth with him and De'Aaron Fox, blase. De'Aaron Fox and his dad had a lot of words for, Lonzo Ball and his dad. And pretty much what happened is that Caruso came in there and shut down De'Aaron Fox, and De'Aaron Fox wound up being pretty much, out the game by the second half. So it's fun and it's funny to think about now. And you see both these guys are back reunited here in Chicago. They were really good friends as well, too. You guys got to understand, Caruso was like the guy that drove the car, because they were all still young and everything like that. And Caruso was a little bit older than these guys, but Caruso is a guy that they all helped each other become a fun little unit and everything like that. And it's the end of that unit as well, too. Pretty much everybody who was a part of the Lakers from 2017 till now, who were drafted and brought in for this youth movement situation that the Lakers put together, are now gone. Everybody. And it's a sad, sad day. But you know what? It is what it is. The Lakers have gotten a championship out of this deal. And you know what? A lot of us got to understand, Lakers did miss the playoffs 5 years in a row until LeBron did get here. But we are in now the third different team that LeBron's going to be running with, and his third season in Los Angeles. So, his fourth season in Los Angeles, it looks like it's going to be the fourth different team he's going to be rolling with, because I got to remember now he's been here for 4 years. Actually, 4 years. So pretty much it's going to be going into the fourth season. So we'll be looking at a fourth different style of a lineup, for LeBron and everything like that, and players that are on the roster. So I think the Bulls came up pretty big here in this situation. I think that what happens here is that the Bulls can move themselves back into playoff position, maybe that 8th, 7th seed. Lonzo is going to be really good right there with Kobe, and then he's going to be really good with Zach LaVine as well, too. I think everything will work out the way that it should. And you know what? They got a big get when they got Vucevic from Orlando. So, everything should work out pretty well for the Bulls. We're going to see how it goes, though. And, hey, the youth movement is there in Chicago, and a lot of guys that, were drafted and pretty much have been, seen as highly touted big-time players, they're all going to be there, and it should be a lot of fun for the fellas down there out there in the shy. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But that's going to be the Bulls right there for you. And pretty much the Bulls trying to make some moves and actually be relevant again. So, you got to appreciate that, Chicago. So we'll see how it goes. I know my man Ray Flores is more than excited, him and his brother Miguel. Big time Southside boys. All right, so we move on. Can Notre Dame football win a national title for the first time in 30 years as they have a stacked roster for the upcoming CFP season? They got Dane Chris coming back. They got literally every single one of their receivers coming back as well, too. They got a lot of running backs coming back as well. And you know what? They got a great offensive line, and the defense ain't too bad themselves. So this year, Notre Dame should be right there in the mix of things. And I think that maybe this could be the year that they pull off the big victories that they've been pining for. You know what I mean? You got Clemson that's not going to be the same Clemson team that they've been for the last decade or so. I don't see this kid. I saw him in high school. He's actually on QB1 with the kid that went to Iowa State. They both went to high school out in Southern California, one that's pretty close to one that Josh Rosen went to, actually. So not Bishop Montgomery, but I'm trying to think. I'm trying to have it come to my. It's right there. but Bosco Tech. So pretty much they all went to St. John Bosco, and they did pretty good at the school down there in Bellflower. But now they find themselves here in this position to play against, to be in this spot to become pretty legendary here. I think that all in all, that Notre Dame doesn't have much in their way this year. I know Alabama will be Alabama, as they always are this year, but Alabama is bringing in a brand new quarterback this year as well, too. Even though he's a highly touted high school prospect and everything like that, you have to remember the kid just is coming out of high school as well, too. And even with all the talent that they have on Alabama, we've seen that guys in their first year at quarterback for Alabama, they're great, but they're going to have their moments, though, too, at the same time. So I really do expect this to be a different college football season. I know Alabama's going to always get a lot of love, a lot of leisure, because they are going to, field the best players and everything like that. But I think at the end of the day, though, we have to really look at the situation and say to ourselves, this is going to be a really good season. And I think that Notre Dame has it on their mind to be right there in the mix to try to get some big upsets and everything like that this year against the big time teams. And hopefully we just get a different movie. The Alabama thing is getting a little old. So hopefully will these college teams step it up this year? And Notre Dame is one of them that comes to mind for me this year, because they have the most, they got the biggest chips on their shoulder, in my opinion. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But Notre Dame should be right there in the top 5 all season, and they will still play their tough games as well, too. All right, our NFL preview for today is a team that's near and dear to me. They started off in Oakland, went to LA, went back to Oakland. Now they're in Las Vegas, and the Las Vegas Raiders coming here ready to kick some butt this year. I think that a lot of people have to understand that Derek Carr wants to prove some points this year. If it was about him or not about him, with Tom Brady saying, "You're gonna keep this guy over me, blah 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 blah, blah. You're gonna keep this guy for this, da 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 da." Well, you know what? I think Derek Carr took that as some motivation, felt like that was him. And you know what? Derek Carr last year was able to lead the Raiders to the 10th best offense scoring-wise. Then also yards per game was top 10 in passing yards last year as well, too. And so pretty much there's some things working out in Derek Carr's favor. He threw for 4,000 yards, over 4,000 yards last year, 27 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, had a 101.4 QB rating, and he was assisted by a great running game from Josh Jacobs, who had 1,065 yards and 12 touchdowns on the season. So this is something that you have to look at and say to yourself, okay, the Raiders should be all up in the mix. And then you have Darren Waller, who wound up being pretty good as well, too. Darren Waller, who's 16 games, 107 receptions as well, 1196, 74.8, and the average catches for him was 11.2 yards. Nelson Aguilar, one of his bigger receiving targets, is gone now, but he still has Hunter Renfrow. He still has Henry Ruggs III as well, too. And then he should have a healthy Brian Edwards, who only played in 12 games last year, but was clutch in certain spots. So this is going to be fun. The Raiders have a lot going in their favor, so everything should work out pretty well for them. Also, on the defensive end of the ball, they got themselves some really good pass rushers coming back this season as well, and everybody's really looking forward to the performance of Max Crosby this year. I think Max Crosby should be huge for the Raiders. He had 7 sacks last year. All he can do, only way is up right now. And then after that, though, the Raiders do have to improve in that department. After that, it was Nick Morrow, then Vickers as well. Farrell before he got hurt, because Farrell did get hurt last year as well. So everything should work out. And then hopefully they can get a full healthy season from the kid in the backfield who wears the coveted number 24, Jonathan Abram, who played 13 games last year. But you would have thought he would have been a little bit better than what he actually was. He did have 79 tackles last season, but all in all, though, you wanted better from him as well, too. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But the Raiders should have themselves a good season. When I see that the Raiders over-under is 7, you have to jump all over the over 7. The Raiders in the last few years have went from 4-12 to 7-9 to 8-8 last season. So they are making progress to getting to the playoffs, but they have to win the games that they're supposed to win. A lot of times the Raiders find themselves in a position where they're losing a game that is the most critical game of the season, and that happened 3 times last year, and that's why they missed the playoffs. They lost 3 games in a row and then beat Denver at the end of the year, but still those 3 games in a row were at home as well, and they needed those wins badly, and they really did drop the ball in that situation. So it is what it is at the end of the day. They'll be in it to win it tonight. They'll be in it to win it all season. I think that Gruden does turn the corner this year, and the Raiders actually make the playoffs and could possibly, if they have a really good season, win the AFC West, something that's eluded them the last 20-some-odd years. So we'll see how it goes with the Raiders. We'll see how it shakes out. But you know what? It's all in all, they're looking to have a winner here in the desert. So with that, we will be right back with the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles, live with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Kappa, and I'll be right back at you.
Now you and your friends can compete in the sport of kings and win big with Stable Duel. Get the app. Pick your horses.
The Viget app, where social media meets sports betting. Get the latest line movements in all major sports. Track your daily bets, daily contests, the NFL over-under contest that pays out $10K in cash prizes. This is a cutting-edge app that helps betting be easy. Sign up with the reference code POPDBIC and you will be able to watch my daily show, The Primetime Angles, as a resource to building that bankroll. Viget is available in your Apple or Google Store on your iOS or Android. The social sports betting app, Viget.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? We are back with the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles, live with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper. So here we are. We find ourselves with deals coming all across the board, and I got baseball up now, but it's official. Carmelo Anthony is now a Los Angeles Laker. He has signed a 1-year deal to tag on with his old buddy from back in the day, the guy that came in the league with him, LeBron James. And it's just like, it's awesome to me. I love the fact that these guys are finally going to play together. I know that they're ancient now, but at least they're going to get to play together. Wilt and Bill Russell never got to play together. Larry and the Magic never got to play together in the NBA. You know what I mean? They got to play together in like little exhibition situations. But this is awesome. Carmelo and LeBron together, and you know that they can push each other to that level. But all in all, let's get into the Dodgers, though. And Steph Curry did go ahead and secure another $200 million deal with the Warriors, which is huge, you know what I mean? Because there was a lot of rumblings that he might be gone, and, you know, he didn't leave. He stayed loyal, and that's exactly what they needed him to do. So, hey, it's a wild and crazy days in the NBA right now. But let's go ahead and get into it. The Dodgers square off with the Astros in a 2-game set at Chavez Ravine. You got two teams that are vying to keep going, and there it is. The Lakers have signed Malik Monk as well too, and I just mentioned that name yesterday. And Malik Monk is now a Laker as well. So pretty much there's going to be a lot for me to talk about in a moment when we get to State of the Lakers. Too bad I messed up, and actually I got to get the graphic back, but we're going to talk State of the Lakers after we get done talking about these baseball games before we talk about Talkin Tickets. So let's just hold tight for where we're at, and we'll get to it. But all in all, the Dodgers do have themselves a 2-game set here. It's going to be pretty good tonight. You got Walker Buehler going against Lance McCullers, a very good pitching matchup here. So you got two guys that are red hot in the pitching department. McCullers was tearing up everything in sight, but had a little bit of a hiccup because, it is what it is. And, you just run into a bad game sometimes. But all in all, though, that you got McCullers, who's really on a kind of a tear, but he was tearing it up right before that strikeout wise, but he still is averaging over 8 Ks in his last 6 games or so. But that doesn't mean he's not giving up runs or anything like that. He gave 4 runs in his last game, 4 runs in the game prior to that as well too. Both those games were one of those games wound up being a no decision, but it wound up being a loss later on because the Indians did win that game that day. And then against Seattle, he did get the win in that spot. So pretty much Lance McCullers is coming in here trying to, continue his great pitching. But you know what? He can be hit as well too. So that's what gives the Dodgers some intuition right here. But I know he's going to be on his A game tonight. Walker Buehler has been absolutely a stud. Probably in his last 10, the worst game he had was against the Cubs, giving up 3 runs. So this guy is absolutely dealing right now. He's 11-2 on the year. So the Dodgers are in a good spot. This should be a good game as well too. 11-1 actually. I'm so sorry, but the Dodgers should be good to go on this spot. And they need to actually get some wins here because they're in second place, but they're starting to kind of let San Francisco kind of not run away with it, but San Francisco is starting to get a good enough cushion to where the Dodgers are going to have to really, really, work it out and start looking for some losing from the Giants as well too. But it seems like every time the Dodgers lose, the Giants lose. Every time the Dodgers win, the Giants win. So you know what? It's just an ongoing situation. And as I said before, neither had to worry about San Diego because now their best player is literally in a 50-50 situation for the rest of the season to see if he's going to play or not with his third separated shoulder. So the Dodgers should be in a good place tonight, but it's always going to be fun because it's going to be against a team that they despise immensely, and that's going to be the Houston Astros. And we all know we don't have to keep bringing it up, but, there's still a lot of bad blood in this situation right here, and hopefully it will not spill over into anything shenanigans tonight. But, we've seen some crazy things with the Astros and the Dodgers, and we'll see how it goes, see how it shakes out. But I do expect a great game between these two teams tonight. So let's go ahead, move on, talk about tonight's first game that I have here. Is going to be the Indians and the Blue Jays. The Indians and the Blue Jays coming into this one very, very, very going very different directions. The Blue Jays were red hot. They actually had their win streak ended yesterday with a extra inning win by the Indians as well. So pretty much this right here is going to be some things that pretty much are going to be in place to have a pretty much in place because, the Blue Jays are back at home. A lot of people like how they're looking at home as well, too. They've been kicking butt, and they got their best pitcher on the mound with Ryu Aduget. And then you got Plesac, who's been pitching very well for the Indians this year. But you already know, top 10 team in batting this year, the Blue Jays. They won't be held back like they were yesterday because that was just a good pitching effort from the full realm of the Indians bullpen. So, and their starting pitcher that people didn't put a lot on. So pretty much they go ahead and get a good win yesterday. The Indians before that point had lost. The Indians were kind of going back and forth with winning and losing, but that was a good win for them yesterday. They won their last 3 out of 5, while the Blue Jays have won their last 4 out of 5. So expect a good matchup between these two teams today. But I do feel like the Indians are going to be right back in this thing just like they were yesterday. And I think that they're going to make this game very, very difficult on the Blue Jays. I know that Raul's been killing it, but you know what? He's struggled in a lot of his games since the All-Star break as well, too. In most of his games since the All-Star break, he did well against Boston, but I think that once again, he's going to be at home here for the first time ever as a starting pitcher for the Blue Jays, starting for the Blue Jays, and I think that this will wind up being a pretty good spot for the Indians to be right in this game. They may not win, but they're not going to get blown away. So I got them as the +1.5 today. We'll see how it shakes out. We'll see how it goes, and we move on to our next game, which is going to be the Red Sox and the Tigers. The Tigers +120 today. Red Sox -145. Red Sox coming into this one kind of struggling a little bit. Got swept this weekend by the Rays, but this is a little bit of a reliever for them because they're going against the Tigers, but the Tigers have probably played their best baseball at this point this season as well, too. Willie Peralta will be getting the start today for the Tigers. And then you have Garrett Richards, who's 6-6 pitcher, very even kill pitcher, and his ERA says that as well, too. But he should be backed up by some of the best bats in baseball right now. But we'll see how it goes. Detroit always kind of finds a way to kind of muck things up for the Red Sox a little bit. So we'll see how this one shapes out. I think this is more of a scoreboard watching game. So let's have some fun with this one. So Red Sox, Tigers, I think that this should be pretty good. But I think the Red Sox should handle their business here. I think that they can win this game by 2 or more runs, but we'll see. We'll see. We're dependent on the bats today. We're not worried about the pitching. All right, here we go. We got the Twins at the Reds, and this is going to be an interleague game. You got a Twins team that's coming in here, losers of their last 4 out of 5. Reds doing very well, winning both series last week against the Cubs and the Mets. And you know what? This team is on a collision course to try to get to the playoffs as the NL Central champion. But if not, they could be right there for that wild card spot. Tyler Mahle, who's been pitching very well lately, is going to get the start today. He pitched so good in his last game. He actually pitched 6 innings, gave up no runs, only had 2 strikeouts, 5 hits, but he was able to manage outs there for his team. So that's one thing that's very huge for this Red squad at this point, and this should be able to work dividends for him. Then you also have Kent Maeda, the veteran. Kent is going to be on the mound today. He's 5 strikeouts in his last performance, one run given up, 2 walks, and then he was hit 4 times by the Tigers. Then pretty much he did a pretty good job against the Angels, but he did give up 3 runs in that spot. And last time he played, and then, Tigers as well, too. He played the Tigers. He's been against the Tigers a lot lately. So pretty much when I look at this situation, I say to myself that this can be a very, very good spot for bettors as well. And I think that all in all, though, you can expect an upset today from the road team. I know that they're not a big dog, but they are the dog bet that's on the pick 6 right now. So I like the Twins to get the win today. I know it's not a lot, but there's a lot of dogs out there as well too to bark and bow wow with. So you guys can go ahead and look into those ones as well too. But this one right here is to me feels like a situation where they kind of got the spread wrong. So I'm going to go ahead and take the road team, the road doggy dog, and see what they can do. So we move on to our next game, and our next game is going to be a fun one. It's going to be the Braves and the Cardinals. Braves coming in here as at -130 favorites, and then you have the Cardinals who, pretty much I'm not going to say that they're throwing in the towel this year, but they're not. It doesn't look like they're going to be making the playoffs this year. I had the Cardinals being much better than what they are, but they're very inconsistent. They got John Lester on the mound today. John Lester looking to get himself a win on debut here for the Cardinals. And then you have Max Fried Max Fried, who's going to be back. And Max Fried is pretty much 7-7 on the year, having a middling year as well too. And both these teams have kind of been in the dumps a little bit this year, but Atlanta has been able to hit the long ball this year, so that might be something that works out well for them today in this spot because they're going against a team that does have some shaky pitching with the old man Lester on the mound. So it is what it is at the end of the day, and this will be pretty much a very tense game in my opinion. So we got the over-under of 8.5, and I feel like the scoreboard watching will be the look here. Now you have the Cubs and the Rockies. The Cubs and the Rockies are looking really good, and pretty much you have a Cubs team now that's not seen as a big contender. They're not seen as a lead anymore. They pretty much got rid of the whole 2016 team. Well, all the contributors to that 2016 team, they're all gone now. So pretty much the Cubs are starting a new era in Wrigley. So today they go against the Rockies. The Rockies have not been favored that many times this season, but when they have been a favorite this season, they've actually been a pretty good team. So they're on to something here with this spot. But I think what happens here is a lot of people get wise with it and try to get the Cubs at the end of the right before we get to the first pitch and everything like that. So that's something to look at. But I think once again, this is another scoreboard watch game, and that's what I'm going to do here. So we move on to a pretty good game between North and Southern California, and that's going to be the Padres and the Athletics today. Padres in a position now where they're really going to have to make up for, pretty much losing Tatis, and I think Tatis honestly should be done for the season. If that's the third time you've ripped your shoulder, if that's the third time you separated your shoulder, that just means that it's time for surgery because you're just going to keep separating your shoulder. So pretty much it is what it is. And I think that the A's, the dark horse of them all, a team that people don't talk much about, they should be able to get themselves a good win. Last time they saw the Padres, they absolutely beat them up during a day game. So I think that they roll in with that same momentum tonight, and I think they go ahead and get themselves a good win, and they can win this game by a run or more. So we'll see how it goes. And A's Padres should be a good one. But all in all, though, let's just get ready for a great night. So there it is. I'll be right back. This is the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live. And I'll be right back at you.
Now you and your friend.
The Vegas Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners and I'll Have Another and Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune in to Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
All right, as I told you guys, as we were doing other things within the show, I don't have my graphic right now. I actually I kind of might have mishandled it a little bit, might have deleted it. But all in all, state of the Lakers have signed over 6 players here in the last 36 hours or so. They've signed back Trevor Ariza after 13 years of sitting around needing to bring back Trevor Ariza. Then they brought back Kent Bazemore as well, too, a guy that was a part of the Laker era when the Lakers weren't that good of a team, but he was a pretty good asset for the Lakers. He was a guy Kobe liked a lot. And then you have Wayne Ellington, a guy that actually came a little. He was around the time with Kobe's end, but he's also a guy that's very familiar with the area Kobe's from as well too. He went to the other school, Marion Station, but he is from that same area Kobe is from as well too, in Philadelphia. So Wayne Ellington was a pretty good shooter for the Lakers, but they wound up, not signing him back or anything like that. But, North Carolina legend as well too. And then they brought back the problem child himself for the third time, Dwight Howard. So Dwight Howard's back in town. Dwight Howard really was adamant about coming back, but that just meant because probably they didn't need him back in Philadelphia. But all in all, though, he's back with the Lakers again, and they are looking and wants to get that championship. He said he wants his parade, damn it. And then today, the Lakers go ahead. They go get the legend, Carmelo Anthony, about 10 years overdue. I remember years ago, we thought that we were going to be able to pair Kobe and Carmelo together. But what happened is that the Nuggets chose to send him to the New York Knicks, and you guys know the rest of the story. And then we brought in today a guy that I mentioned several times yesterday once I found out that he was going to be a free agent, that Malik Monk would be a hell of a pickup for any team, specifically the Lakers, because of his three-point threat and his three-point shot. And the Lakers go ahead and they sign Malik Monk today. Like, they almost signed him immediately. So thank you for reading the Twitter feed and everything like that. Rob Pelinka, I think that maybe I should be getting a call today, and maybe I could be an assistant for about the next few weeks and everything like that, because after that I got to do NFL bet exchange. Brother got things to do, so you know what it is at the end of the day. But the Lakers did add the shooter. They added the prime vet. They're going to call them the big three, but you know what? They're going to be a big four, because you get Carmelo here, and he's going to actually get to play with a guy that he's very comfortable with, in LeBron and Westbrook as well too. So pretty much AD gets to be a superstar without having any pressure on him anymore. So pretty much it's going to be a fun little, it's going to be some fun. I tell Laker fans now, and all fans of the game, don't get too excited about this thing. You got to see if this thing is going to work. You have to make sure everybody gets to the regular season healthy and everything like this as well too. So we'll see how it goes. But Brooklyn's adding some players as well too. They just picked up Patty Mills. They just picked up James Johnson as well too. So the Nets and Lakers are putting together pretty much all the players that have some type of credibility or did some type of thing in the NBA that were available to try to get this NBA Finals on that we were supposed to get on this year. So pretty much it should be fun, but we're going to see how this thing goes. But man, incredible. Big stuff going on today. But let's go ahead and jump into the Talkin Tickets, and we got ourselves some really good action today. I'm going to have the Indians started off for us, plus 1.5 today on the Indians. You got the Red Sox minus 140. I'm doing the over 8.5 with the Braves and the Cards. Then we're doing the Twins money line plus 125, the under 11.5 with the Cubs and the Rockies. And then we end it all with the spread on the A's minus 1.5. This is going to be a 52-1 ticket. So let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. This, as I always say, small risk, big reward. So you guys already know this is a 1040 ticket for the $20, man. So don't even hesitate to not put the 20 on it. This ain't don't play yourself and do the $5 ticket and say, oh man, I should have put some more money on it. No, do this. Go put your 20 on it. It ain't that big of a deal. You're gonna put the same 20 on that 20 bag. So go ahead and put that 52-1 up. You get 1040 back on the winner, and hopefully we do get the winner on this bad boy. So there it is. Once again, the MLB PrimeTime PK6, 52-1, and hopefully this one does get you your bang for your buck. But as usual, single what you like. There's going to be winners there as well too. So with that, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. Once again, this is the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper. And as I always say, if you got a hunch, bet a bunch. Bet with your head, not with your heart. The movement is moving, and I'll be back tomorrow, hopefully with my man Mike Abadir here, the Wednesday correspondent, and we'll be talking some more NBA, NFL, MLB, and some horse racing as well too. So you guys make sure to tune in at noon to 1 once again. And man, I look forward to it, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. And I am gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.